Can't thank you enough, Lieutenant Monroe. This will be invaluable. Linkara out. How's it look, Doc? Simple enough operation. I'll show you how it works before you beam over. Normally, the transporter buffer can only hold about 10, 12 items. Fortunately, I'm a genius. Now it can hold 100. My very own bag of holding. Awesome. Nerd.
I doubt any of the weapons you bring with you will be effective against the entity.
Can't hurt to try at least. How much longer until the satellite network is ready?
Another half hour should be sufficient time.
I know what I'm doing.
Of all the champions that I have vanquished in my quest, all the creatures that I have encountered and destroyed, I have never beheld a more perplexing trait than your desire to review things while facing doom and destruction.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a birdie hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazons and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Is that I'm crazy for you? Touch me once and you know it's true. I never
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall,
Ponies.
where bad comics.
Ponies. Ponies, ponies, ponies.
Patreon sponsored review time again. This episode is about tiny horses. Again. As a refresher, we covered My Little Pony Friendship is Magic a year ago in another Patreon-sponsored review. That one was a crappy environmental message story about deer, a minotaur, and how apparently royalty has no actual authority over businesses that could immediately put a halt to their development plans. Then, for the holiday season, I covered an annual issue featuring some ponified versions of Christmas classics.
And today is all about 1980s-style John Hughes-written ponies. So I got 5 figures here. You could take a Soundwave and let's say Rainbow Dash. And okay, we're going to act out some scenes from Breakfast Club as a kind of an homage, and I think it'll be a good part of the review.
Okay, how about I do the review on my own,
We are not alone. Do 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 do.
and then I'll take you to that new My Little Pony movie that's coming out soon as many times as you want.
$600 worth of times. I mean, come on, it's like the movie. We have to see it multiple times to really immerse ourselves in the pony experience. Plus, Sia's in it.
Sure.
Don't you forget about this. No, 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 no.
Her Idols of Anime series really is quite good, and you should check it out. Anyway, let's dig into My Little Pony Friendship is Magic number 11 and 12.
We also gotta see Spider-Man Homecoming.
We'll go see it when I can actually get my episodes out on time. The cover is good, featuring a high school yearbook full of characters of presumed relevance to the two-parter. To aid with the aesthetic, it's also sitting on top of some papers, a ticket to a dance, and even a cassette tape for Springsteed. The title track, Born in Equestria. So it's a song about the hardships veteran ponies face in Equestria when returning home from Vietnam? Dumb question, but I know that unicorns and alicorns can use their magic horns to telekinetically move objects in this world, but regular ponies don't have that, so how exactly is a normal pony supposed to flip the pages of a book like this? We open with the main characters at a tea house with Twilight Sparkle's brother Shining Armor and his wife Princess Cadence. Time for backstory! In the 2-part Season 2 finale of the show, the two got married, but part of the plot was that Twilight hadn't been informed ahead of time that her brother was dating Cadence. There was also a plot about shape-shifting ponies trying to take over the land by impersonating Cadence, as you do. Anyway, the ponies thank them for inviting them out on the town with them, although Pinkie Pie is upset by the tea house. This place could use some streamers. And have you seen the size of these cakes? I'll need to eat 42 of them to equal one piece of normal cake. And the owner of the tea house sighs in the background. What the hell are you so upset about? That means she's gonna spend a crap ton more money here. The two are heading back to their kingdom, the Crystal Empire, fairly soon so they can celebrate their 1-year anniversary together. This prompts Fluttershy to note that they don't know how the two met. That's easy. Princess Cadence was my foal sitter. That's one way to ensure that royalty doesn't become spoiled, force them to do regular teenager jobs. However, Shining Armor and Cadence say there's more to this story than that they went to school together. I remember it like it was a while ago. The two-part story is called Nay Anything, a play on the Cameron Crowe film Say Anything, which many people might know as that movie where John Cusack holds a boombox under the window of the woman he likes and plays a Peter Gabriel song. AKA that thing that is incredibly romantic in a fictional setting, and is really creepy in real life. However, the title is more just a general 80s romantic movie reference, which this comic has a crap ton of, so please forgive me if I don't point out every single one of them. The two attend Canterlot Academy, where Shining Armor in particular had a group of friends. One of those friends, a nerdy pony named Poindexter, is tripped by a jock into the others. Hope you had a nice trip, Poindexter. See, the real evolutionary problem of a world populated by horses is that no one can give him the finger. Cadence spots the tripped group and goes to Shining Armor first, offering to help him up. Shining Armor, however, is kind of awestruck by how beautiful she is and can't really respond beyond "durr" and "gerp." I do love the borders of the page made up of the books and pencils he dropped, one of which being composition. Cute. Before Shining Armor can summon up his true courage, her friends call her to go to class before they're late. I think she likes me. Well, who could resist a poet like you, dude? Come lunchtime, you'll be serenading her with "gah." Later that day, he and his friends are hanging out in a basement that, good lord, look how many splotches are everywhere. Did somebody flick paint around this whole basement? Or is the entire area slowly being enveloped in darkness? That happened to me once, you know. It's not like it looks like shading or something. They use standard shadows and cross-hatching in the rest of the panels. I'd call this a printing error, but this is a digital copy I got off of Comixology. The four are playing Oubliettes and Ogres, the pony version of Dungeons & Dragons. They also have posters on the wall for Star Trot 2, Bridal Runner, and what I presume to be Braylander. So as a reminder, this world has Dungeons & Dragons, high school, and movies, but no cars. I know, I don't watch the show, and it's a cartoon meant for kids, so I shouldn't be thinking that hard about it, but it just baffles me. Anyway, they make some rolls, but Shining Armor seems distracted. Shining Armor, you still with us over there? We need our paladin. What?
What's a paladin?
I think some pony still has his head on tricolored hair and blue eyes. Her eyes are purple.
Purple eyes, what the fuck?
Shining Armor has decided that he's gonna make Cadence his girlfriend and take her to the fall formal. There sure are a lot of dances in this place, aren't there? Yeah, but it's cheaper than paying for art and music classes. What? In this world, ponies that are artistically inclined will get a tattoo on their ass signifying it, and everybody is good at singing anyway, so what's the point? Shining Armor, Cadence is a princess, which is why she's attending a public high school instead of private tutoring. No, seriously, aside from the title, is there any benefit to being royalty in this world? The others think he's shooting his expectations a little high, but he thinks this is destiny. She's perfect. We're gonna live happily ever after in a crystal castle. I can see it clearly. And we can see that what he sees clearly is this image. You know what? The crayon delusion has convinced me. Go for it, horse! His friends finally agree to help him, with the one who was the dungeon master thinking he can come up with a plan to woo her. I have written 367 successful Oubliettes and Ogres campaigns. If I can't come up with a quest for the hero to get the girl, I may as well turn in my nerd badge. Well, anything's possible if you make the acrobatics roll. And much like my ST3V joke from a while back, my thanks to the three of you who get that reference. Also, good job, dude. I'm sure there won't be any problem treating someone like they're a fictional character and prize to be won in an RPG. I see nothing but good in this. Isn't that right, Shining Armor? Or are you too busy obsessing over a miniature that kinda looks like Cadence? The plan requires 3 trials for him to overcome. The first is easiest. He has to actually talk to her. Given his track record so far, maybe we should just skip to the part where rocks fall and everybody dies. Second is that he has to make a grand gesture to be noticed and put on the ballot for the fall formal king. And finally, since Cadence is expected to be the fall formal queen, the two will get to dance, and that's when he can ask her to start going steady. Well, they say be his very special sun pony because girlfriend and boyfriend are apparently not equine enough. As for the grand gesture, I say sing "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" to her while getting pursued by campus security. Since just walking up to her would be kind of awkward to start talking to her, one of his friends presents an opportunity for him. She's offering full sitting cheap, and Twilight Sparkle needs to be babysat while him and their parents go to his flugelhorn recital. Again, not really certain how one plays an instrument that requires finger movements. Although I suppose telekinesis again, but why would instruments even be designed like this when they're for a species with a completely different anatomy? Anywho, Shining Armor chokes up when Cadence arrives, particularly because she knows his name already. It's not helped by his parents embarrassing him in front of her, mentioning in particular how they'll be going out for ice cream afterwards, or else he'll get cranky wanky. Oh, don't worry, I'm sure he gets very wanky when thinking about Cadence. I'm awful. Why do you people watch me? Still, he does manage to get out a very awkward "hello" before he leaves, so that's something. Next up is the grand gesture, which fortunately is meant less to make a public spectacle to pressure her into accepting, but rather to raise his social standing. The way they do that is the Fall Formal Parade, where his friends have constructed a D&D inspired parade float promoting him for the king spot. Oh, but the float itself is not enough. They have a musical number ready for this. Unfortunately, that song ends up being "Never Gonna Give You Up," so people assume he's just trolling them. In the audience, they spot Cadence hanging out with Buck Withers, the bully from the beginning. Buck is apparently already planning on asking Cadence to the dance, so they need to hurry and pull this off before he can. With the fear of that happening, Shining Armor is determined and heads out there, with his friends also dressed up like 80s bands, including Devo. Although I originally thought Shining Armor's outfit was referencing Falco for Rock Me Amadeus, but according to a wiki, he's apparently supposed to be referencing Adamant. And yet the song he's singing is a loose parody of Oingo Boingo's Little Girls, which... Well, at least in his case, he's singing about pretty pink mares, so it's a little more believable that this might work, instead of making her incredibly creeped out. Oh, and Poindexter is also wearing buttons on his Boy George-inspired outfit. Save Ferris, which, okay, Ferris Bueller is a story here too, but more confusingly, where's the beef? So, I looked it up. Cows are sapient in this universe, or at least they can talk. So, do ponies eat them? And in fact complain when there is insufficient meat in their fast food burgers? Parodies aside, I think we can all see what really wins Cadence over, though. The keytar. Doesn't matter if logically they shouldn't be able to play it, it's a keytar, which means it's awesome. But yeah, Cadence and the crowd seem to really like it and clap for it. Until Buck and his buddy yell out that they're a bunch of geeks and everybody starts laughing at them. As their float burns down, because really this thing was obviously assembled in a hurry without proper safety for the fire spewing behind them, the four leave discouraged. Though clearly Cadence in the background is pissed at Buck for this. As such, the group realizes their objectives must change since they don't think Shining Armor can become the Fall Formal King. You want to win the princess, right? More than anything. Then you are gonna slay that dragon! I know where we can get the beef we want for our burgers! Buck's weakness is that he's an egotistical blowhard who needs to be the center of attention while winning in polo. As such, they figure if they sabotage him in their game that night, they'll take him down a peg, while Shining Armor asks Cadence to the dance. They're good enough to point out, hey, won't this screw over everyone else on the team? But explain that everyone else on the team is good at polo and can without Buck. Unfortunately, in true zany comedy fashion, everything they do just ends up making Buck look fantastic. Blowing an air horn to distract him from making a defense move just allows him to hit the ball higher than normal. Releasing grease to make him slip just makes him accidentally swing the mallet hard enough to send the ball across the field to the goal, etc. Shining Armor finally decides screw the shenanigans and just goes to Cadence to ask her to the dance. But because of the crowd of ponies in the way, he can't get to her before Buck asks her. Well, I guess it's true no pony has asked me yet. I was kinda hoping one pony would. And going alone or asking him myself would break down our societal structures, so... Issue 11 ends with the main six wondering how the hell this could have happened since they ended up together, though Cadence also points out that Shining Armor is clearly embellishing the story a bit. You should hear our dad tell that story. There's a gopher that helps them replace the polo ball. Then he yelled something like, "We're all gonna get laid." It was weird. The other ponies are of course curious what happened after that, bringing us to issue 12. The cover for this one is less impressive, but perfectly serviceable, showing Shining Armor looking forlorn at Cadence while carrying his D&D books. Read The Wild Stallion Within! Excellent! Nay Anything, Part 2, Presentable and Periwinkle. So when John Cryer comes out in this one, is he an actual duck? Cadence thinks that Shining Armor has been embellishing the story too much and decides to take over recounting all this. She flashes back to when she babysat Twilight. Turns out she found his awkward "hello" to be absolutely adorable. As such, she grabs Twilight and lifts her up. "Okay, Twilight Sparkle, first off, I need you to tell me absolutely every relevant piece of information you have about your brother. Where can I find some locks of hair, kid? I must assemble them all and put them on this effigy of him I have made. My Little Pony." Twilight realizes that she already likes him and is willing to help. However, this is Twilight Sparkle we're talking about. "Are you ready to take extensive notes on his likes and dislikes to create several comparative charts about your popularity versus his? Did you bring a label maker? Is your paper wide ruled or academy ruled? Have you begun tracing his cutie mark over and over? Have you sniffed his undergarments and other discarded clothing? Have you rifled through his garbage to find something with his handwriting on it that you can imitate?" However, Cadence is indeed as devoted to Twilight on these subjects, and they spend the rest of the night figuring out that indeed the two are compatible. The two agree to never tell anyone about their night being dorks together. Bonding! Butt bonding! At the parade, Buck kept hitting on her. "Oh no, Buck, please don't. I have, just did my hair. Don't want to muss it, you know." "I do know. It takes forever to get my feathering just right. You really get me, Cadence." "Yeah, but what gets me is that you thought that touching her hair without her permission was a good idea, Buckhead." She is, of course, impressed by the Oingo Boingo cover band that Shining Armor made, and read Buck the Riot Act when he insulted them. She actually had decided to ask him out herself, but overheard some of her friends talking about Shining Armor being in love with a girl. And Cadence apparently didn't put two and two together that he was pining for her. So she figured he was going after someone else, hence why she accepted Buck asking her to the dance. However, later with her friends, she admits her reluctance to get together with Buck. "Don't you think he's kind of mean? My mom always tells me personality traits you don't like in a stallion can be fixed with constant nagging. She says it's been a real boon with her third husband." "Do you think, like, on stallions, they should call them cutie marks? How about manly marks, or macho marks? How about butt brands?" Cadence admits she doesn't like Buck and much prefers Shining Armor. The others think that, as a princess, she could do a lot better, but they turn around when she says that Buck will be back on the market without her in the way. We cut between Shining Armor and Cadence's friends as they talk about their respective plans. The boys are going to try to expose Buck as a jackass to Cadence by constantly poking and irritating him, while Cadence's friends want her to break it off with him at the dance itself so that they can console him in his time of heartbreak. What's more, the boys are going to expose themselves as the ones poking him so that he'll chase after them, leaving him to dance with Cadence in the meantime, probably to whatever the pony equivalent is of Madonna's Crazy For You. Princess Celestia waits with Cadence for Buck to arrive, and Cadence admits to her that she plans to break it off with Buck and be with someone else. "Now, Cadence, it's important to fulfill our obligations. If you agreed to go with the young stallion, it's the right thing to do to go and be gracious. I mean, if you don't fulfill your obligations, you might end up like your hellish aunt who lives in the moon and would rather rain death and destruction upon us all if given the chance." Buck then arrives. "Hello, Princess Celestia. Can I call you Celestia? We're practically family now that I'm dating the fair Cadence. Wow, Canterlot Castle. I could get used to living here. Maybe after graduation there'll be wedding bells. Lucky you. Let's go, Cadence. Mustn't be late for our first public appearance as Canterlot's newest celebrity couple." "Ditch him the first chance you get. You know, you are the ruling monarch. You could order him beheaded. Just saying." At the dance, Cadence sees who Shining Armor is with. Poindexter in a dress, and realizes that Shining Armor isn't really with anyone. As such, she takes the opportunity to break it off with Buck. He's of course shocked and confused as Cadence's friends try to console him, and man, I just realized this dance is kind of sparsely populated. Jeez, maybe this place does have too many dances. Everybody's jaded to them now. Buck suddenly recalls how Shining Armor and Cadence seem to have a thing for each other and gets pissed about it. Fortunately though, Cadence and Shining Armor actually begin talking to one another while his friends poke and irritate Buck. Poindexter apparently doesn't get why he's in the dress, because you never gave Gaffer back his replica Batleth sword after Nightmare Night last year, and that stallion holds a grudge. Oh, for crying out loud, a Batleth is specifically designed for fingers to grasp it! Why would horses design it like that? No, I'm not being pedantic about the show featuring the magical talking ponies! They brought it up! Cadence is announced as Queen of the Fall Formal, and up in the rafters, Shining Armor's friends abandon their plan to drop pig's blood on Buck, and Buck yells at Shining Armor that there's no way Cadence would pick him since he's a dweeb and all. And indeed, Buck is picked as the king, and he loudly announces about how much better he is. You're not good enough for her, Shining Armor. You never will be. I'm the one who deserves a happily ever after, not you, and every pony in this ballroom thinks so. Oh, go buck yourself. However, Shining Armor yells out that he isn't the one who deserves the happily ever after. He is. Everyone else in the room yells out that Buck is a dick and a bully, while Shining Armor has been kind and helpful to everyone else. Who cares about being nice when you're great-looking, rich, and good at sports? Oh, good job there, dude. At this rate, we'll have the reverse carry. The entire dance sets you on fire. Cadence, of course, cares not for his assholery and takes the crown off his head, giving it to Shining Armor. Buck objects, but with the help of Shining Armor's friends, he gets strung up. What are you doing? Let me out of this right now! My father is a Congress pony! Oh, he's connected to politicians. Yeah, suddenly this makes a lot of sense. So anyway, wait, Equestria has a Congress? As Cadence and Shining Armor dance, possibly to the 80s remix of the Chainsmokers' Closer, seriously, look that up, it's amazing, Poindexter asks the other friend if he can take the dress off now. Do you have my Batleth with you? Now? Then no. However, this then brings us to the greatest twist of this comic as he speaks to another pony in a very interesting outfit. Okay, I got them together. Why haven't I leaped, Al? Someone get Obscurus Lupa on the line. My Little Pony and Quantum Leap are in the same universe. And bear in mind, this is a story being recounted by Cadence. That means she knew that Scott Bakula was inside that pony and talking to a hologram. And thus the story is over, and Fluttershy wonders whatever happened to Buck. Shining Armor says he got a lot nicer and better when he got older, and what a coinky-dink! Buck comes in with his own wife, who appears to be one of Cadence's old friends. And so our comic ends with Shining Armor and Buck winking and pointing at each other in an "Ayy" kind of way. Ayy! You used to bully and abuse me in high school! The comic has a 2-page spread to end this off with some more horse music puns, including Safety Prance, Let's Get Tangible by Olivia Newton-Jump, so there are a lot of incorporeal horses out there. Tack on Me by Halter, When Birds Cry by Prance, but most important of all, Never Gonna Give Up You by Rain Astley. I feel like this thing just rickrolled me. Anyway, these comics are fine. I still really do not care about this series, and that's okay. I know plenty of people who friggin' love the show, and they are free to do so. The comics themselves are filled to the brim with 80s references, while itself basically being a big tribute to 80s teen dramas and comedies. Most of the complaints I have made throughout this review were quickly undone by a line of dialogue or two that indicated, yeah, we know some of the problematic tropes of these things, and we're gonna fix them real quick. So kudos there. It's a very cute love story and plenty of fun, full of fairly funny jokes and quirky characters. It's not really my thing, but there's nothing bad about it at all. If you're a fan of My Little Pony, this two-parter is probably right up your alley. Unless I'm somehow missing out on some massive plot holes and continuity issues as a result of not knowing this series inside and out, but, well, whatever. Next time, assuming there is a next time, we conclude the 3 Patreon-sponsored reviews of comics in a row by going back to the beginning of Image Comics with Stormwatch number 0. Linkara, we're ready! And here we go. Alright guys, I've locked the controls, now get me the hell out of here!
So nice to see you again, human.
Dear Lord, it's creepy when you do that!
I know.
So, here's what I don't understand. You killed yourself, or at least you seem to. Why did you come back? Did you not get the answers you were seeking?
I am not the same being who took that journey.
What?
I am a piece of myself, a small component of a greater whole, left behind when the majority of my being sought an answer to your question. I am a guarantee, a lifeline so that my glory will remain and return.
You're just a piece of the entity?
I was asleep for years, until the Craven King woke me up. Worthless being, always assumed it was superior to my magnificence.
Well, you know how royalty can be. Listen, I'd love to stay and chat, but I think I've overstayed my welcome.
No escape this time, human. It is as it was before, you and I, alone. Still, I'd hate to have our fun be interrupted.
They're charging weapons!
Target engines and weapons, but do not destroy them. The entity will survive and flee to another dimension before it can get in range of the portal.
Temporal shields holding!
Excellent. Forward, lads. Return fire.
Around the temporal shields, switching frequencies.
Huh. But allow me to show you all what this ship can do at full strength. Nimue, engage the particle disseminator.
Confirm.
Engage tractor beam emitters. We'll drag them in closer to the portal and...
Well, we're boned.
It's your move, human. Albeit, you appear to be underprepared for this confrontation.
Looks can be deceptive. I probably can't kill you, but I bet I can piss you off.
With your biting wit, human?
No! With a transporter buffer. You know, everybody was asking me, what happens if I throw this at you? Might as well find out! Pokeball, go! Holy crap, that actually worked? Well, if Pokemon has taught me anything, that you just keep chucking balls until you get it right. Pokeball, go! Okay, maybe an Ultra Ball will...
The neutron blasters can't get a clean hit on it.
Nimue, unleash the swarm.
Confirmed.
It's no good. We can't disable that thing. We've got to help Linkara out somehow.
Linksano, attempt to patch into the security systems aboard Comicron 2. We need to see what's going on over there.
On it!
So amusing, so entertaining, so utterly futile. I am so much more than you, human. Even when your voice became my voice, you could do nothing but sleepwalk.
There's something inside of me. A worry, a concern about the future. Hopelessness. Insignificance. How tiny and unimportant we are in the grand scheme of things. What are you going to do to pass the time?
The game, Linkara!
Something is playing a larger game.
You have to keep playing. I love playing this game too much to stop now.
Don't play games with me, guys. Games. In the end, you'll still be there, alone in the darkness of mere being. Forever!
Don't play their game. Play mine.
I don't want this game to end.
Sleepwalk through eternity. What are you doing?
I'm done. I surrender.
But no, you cannot do that.
You said this was a game, didn't you? Well, I'm done. Game over. The only winning move is not to play.
No, you can't do that.
Then kill me. Absorb me. Whatever. Because I do not like this game and I no longer wish to play.
I will absorb you and your world
And you haven't done it yet! You are vast and terrible and beautiful and all the crap you boasted at me last time! You absorbed everyone on Earth then! And yet you've been back for years now and you haven't done it!
What the hell is he doing?
I don't know. But I think we're about to find out.
You must fight! Continue the game!
No! I figured it out! Sleepwalk through eternity? That was you! 6 years ago, I showed you that your existence was pointless. I showed you how meaningless your purpose was. And here we are again! Nothing has changed. You could take this world at any time. You could go right back to where we left off when you died. But you haven't! Because what's the point? You're trying to stave off the inevitable by playing this game, but it's just a diversion. You want us to just keep playing this over and over. Well, it has to end at some point. And if you won't end it, I will. What the hell are we even doing?
I still have not returned. You asked what happens when a god dies, and there is still no answer. I see eternity before me, and it is useless. And so I drag myself along the course of infinity for nothing. Why is there no answer, human? What is this hopelessness? I am insignificant. It is sickening. I have been in this universe for too long. It is... I cannot... I am diminished. I am missing. I cannot process this without my full form, but it has not returned. I am unimportant. Cannot be. Nothing matters. Nothing I do matters. Give me purpose. Give me something. I cannot. I fear. I cannot process this. I am more than this. But I am diminished. Nothing I do matters. Tell me how I can matter. How I can function.
We're both afraid of the same thing. That we're gonna close our eyes and that'll be it. That everything we are doesn't matter. But I don't believe that. There are other things, other challenges you could be. You could make yourself human. Abandon one form for another.
No! I know your experiences. I know your existence. I have possessed your life forms. I have possessed all life forms. I know those things. I have seen your thoughts, your memories from before. You are small. I am
insignificant. You said so yourself.
I am a storm. You are a grain of sand. Do not even think that your existence could compare to mine. But what is a storm to eternity but a light breeze? There is nothing. I cannot bear this confusion any longer. I am afraid. I am irrelevant. I have only the same questions that my greater whole had. I hope it has found the answers that I cannot. It's getting dark now. The game is over. Players depart from the table. I am alone. I am afraid.
Don't be afraid. I'm here with you.
Is there something more than this?
I think so.
What if there is not?
Then, at least have a good run before it ends.
Is there?
No, it's a trick! It's still alive!
What the hell are you doing?
I have increased power to the singularity generators! There is no escape now!
Nims, lock him out!
Unable to comply. This unit no longer has full control of Kamikron 1.
1 hour, the singularity will be large enough to engulf the Earth itself. The entity will not escape this time! Their sacrifice will not be in vain! I will kill the entity! Behold the end of this game! Lord Vice wins!
I love how the title card for this episode is a reference to an 80s movie that wasn't referenced in these comics. Sorry, Bachelor Party.